Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to give people a couple seconds to just get comfortable, get signed on. I see people are joining us. So just want to give people a few seconds to come into the webinar and make sure they're comfortable. Okay. And for those that are just joining in, if you could raise your hand, there's a hand in the control panel. If you can hear me, if you could raise your hand. Okay, we've got hands going up. Super, super. Okay, great, great. So what I'm going to do is, before I pass it over to Vanessa, also, if you can put into, there's a question box or a chat box, the where you're coming from and what you want to learn during this webinar. That would give me an idea of where we're at and what I can make sure to show everybody. So, and there is a question chat box if you could do that. So Vanessa, I'm going to pass it over to you. I will stop speaking and let you take over.
Well, thanks so much, Randy. So welcome everybody. This session is the last of our summer Google webinar series, which started in the summer and ends in the fall. So we want to thank Randy from Grow with Google for making the series happen for us. Next slide. America's SBDCs are located across the states, and right here in New York State, we're a network of 22 centers on SUNY and CUNY campuses. We were established in 1984. The New York SBDC has worked with over 554,000 small businesses, helping them invest $8.2 billion in the state economy and create or save more than 258,000 jobs in that time. Next slide. Our services are free and made possible by the State University of New York, our host institutions, New York State, and the Small Business Administration. We offer no-cost confidential business advising for entrepreneurs and small businesses at all stages. Through the pandemic, we were able to assist clients in navigating state and federal grants and loans with assistance in determining eligibility, gathering documents, and helping them apply. We offer market research. So the New York SBDC has a research network, which is a full-time digital library. And they provide business research services to New York State SBDC clients and program partners. And since 1991, the research network has provided in-depth research for nearly 70,000 New York SBDC clients. The information they locate comes from a broad range of financial, market, and demographic research reports customized to your specific business and geographic location. They're sourced reliably and accessible to New York State SBDC clients. Sorry, tongue-tied there for a second. EntreSkills, it's our online entrepreneurial education tool for traditional entrepreneurs, veterans, and New York State educators to use in their classroom. We offer business training, like this webinar that you guys are watching today. And we offer always a variety of topics for businesses in different industries and at different stages. Next slide. We also offer business advising in specialty areas like international business development. International business development, or IBD resources, are an extension of our free and confidential business advisement and help New York State and small and medium-sized business owners enter and the export market and increase exports for companies that currently export. With business advisors from many backgrounds, we can offer our advising services in multiple languages. So just let us know what you need. If you're located in Delaware, Dutchess, Green, Orange, Schoharie, Sullivan, or Ulster counties, you have the opportunity to work with us, the Mid-Hudson office. We're located in Kingston. And if you're outside of our coverage area, of course, there are 21 other centers throughout New York State, and you can outreach to our offices by connecting at our website, which is nysbdc.org.
Super. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So Vanessa, I'm going to ask you if you could turn off your camera, mute, make sure you mute, and I'll bring it back on at the end. So guys, for those that joined in a little after we began, if you could put into the question or chat box, however it appears on your control panel, where you're located and what you're hoping to learn from today's webinar. And, just so you know, today's webinar, I'm going to really make it more hands-on than I normally do. Reason being, I find that just doing only slides, people want to see it in motion. So I'll do some slides in the beginning, but I really want to address what everybody is asking and make sure that you're walking away with some valuable information. I have one comment on my red shirt, so I normally wear the other colors, but today I went with a little red, so thank you for noticing, but great. Okay, so let me just give a couple shout outs. So we've got Colleen is from Syracuse, New York. My niece is at Syracuse. Excuse me. Jennifer's from Syracuse. We've got Chelsea's in New York. Okay. Okay, so we've got people from all over. I see a couple of others are in New York. So if you're coming from, let's see, what county was that? Right outside the city. My husband had worked in Valhalla. My daughter was born in Mount Kisco. Both my kids were born in the New York State. My son was born in Buffalo. We were there for 3 years. And my daughter was born in Mount Kisco. We lived in Somers. But now I'm in Baltimore, and I am a speaker with Grow with Google. So I'm coming to you from my home in Baltimore. But we are from Philadelphia area. So kind of been all over these couple states. But so I'm a speaker with Grow with Google. And if you're unfamiliar with Grow with Google, we partner with organizations like the SBDC, SCORE, Chambers, community colleges, public libraries, universities, all those like organizations, and we bring education locally. And not only education on how to grow your business online using Google tools, but also on how to improve your digital skills using Google products, like what we're going to teach today, how to search for a job using Google. So we've got lots of different education that we provide. So what I'm going to do is, while I'm showing the slides, I'm going to turn off my camera because I want my information to have full real estate on the page. And I don't want to distract anybody with, as you can see, I speak with my hands and I've got multiple screens going. So I'm going to turn off my camera. Now, one last thing I want to point out, I have a hashtag Grow with Google. If you've been attending any of these webinars throughout the series, and you've walked away with some valuable information, I'd love if you post it online or use that hashtag Grow with Google. We actually look for that after our webinar so that we can highlight some individuals and businesses to our leadership. So if you've taken away anything from this series or from any of the webinars that you've attended and it's helped your business or you grow, use that hashtag and post about it online or send me an email and you'll get a link to the recording from me automatically a couple hours after the webinar, and that'll have my email. So let's rock and roll and get moving on this. Okay. So these are some of the things that I'm going to go over. And again, what I'd love if you could put into the question box or the chat box, what do you want to learn while I'm going through this webinar, so that I make sure that I'm really addressing as much as I can. So what I'm going to talk about is Google Apps. I'm going to talk about Google Drive, Google Sheets, Docs. I'll give you some quick recap and resources. But again, as I mentioned before, most of these things I'm going to do it live. So I'll go into my drive, and it's a demo drive that I have. But okay, so let's start with Google Apps. And I'm sure some of you are saying, well, what exactly does that mean? Like, where do I even find the apps? I'm going to explain and introduce to you, for those that don't know, where the apps are stored and when you're signed into your Google account and how you can get to these different products and tools to use without, fumbling and feeling like you can't find it. And then just so you know, with most of our products, you do need to have a Google account. So what's a Google account? That's your Gmail account, your workspace account. That's a Google account. So with a lot of the business products that I've been talking about and I train about, you have to have a Google account to utilize them. Same with Google Drive, Google Docs, Sheet. You have to have a Google account to be able to access and use them. Now, if you go to Google, you'll notice sign in up in the top here, that's highlighted. That's how you would sign in to your Google account, put your email in, your password, and then you'll be able to access these. Now, notice at that top here, I've got, you see this grid right here up at the top. Within that grid, that's where the apps are stored in the upper right-hand side when you're signed into your account. You can always go back from any of the products and get to that grid. So when you click that grid, you're going to get a drop down, and within that grid, you can get to your Google Drive, you can get to Photos, Chrome, your Gmail, Slides, Docs, Sheets, Forms. There's a lot more that you can get into and organize them so that you're using them to the best of your ability. The other thing is the most recent used apps, a lot of times, are at the top of that grid when you sign in and get that drop down. Now, to access Google Drive, just like I said before, when you're signed in, and notice that A right here up in the upper right-hand corner, that's the Google account that you're signed into. So, and when you click that grid, you're going to get this drop down. From this drop down, you can access the different apps. So for now, I'm going to show you Google Drive because that's really where we're going to go. And so when you go into Google Drive, if you haven't really been using it, the screen's going to be blank like you're seeing right here. So this is the center of it, and here's the navigation. As with most tools that Google has, navigation is over on the left. So here we've got basically a blank canvas to work with, to give some love to by adding, you know, files and folders and docs and sheets. So that's the drive right in here. Now, so let's talk about the drive, because I always hear from people, well, I'm not really sure I'm afraid to store things. Why can't I get back to it? How do I get back to it? Where is it actually stored? So I want you to think about this whole evolution of storage. So we have physical storage, right? Back in the day, we had physical, where you actually printed everything out. Although my mother still prints out absolutely everything, but you had that physical storage years ago, right? Then we had computer and disk storage. Then we were using thumb drives, right? Flash drives, external drive storage. So in today's world, it's cloud storage, so that you can access your documents from anywhere. You don't have to carry around your little flash drive and then plug it in and access the files. You can access it from any device as long as you're signed in to the account that you use to create those documents. Now, benefits of Google Drive, so you can upload and download files in other formats. So maybe you've got something, a lot of times I have presentations, and after the presentation is shared with our partners, our co-hosts, and they share it with the attendees. So when I share it, I download it from a Google slide presentation, Google Slides, and I download it into a PDF. So you can download into any file format. Maybe I'm presenting somewhere else and they need the presentation in PowerPoint. I can download Google Slides in PowerPoint. So you can download as well as upload in any type of file format. You can share your files with other people. Maybe you're working with a team, or maybe you're on a committee and you want to share a file or a folder or a document or a budget or a spreadsheet. You can share it and other people can work on it at the same time. And you can give different access level as well. And again, as I mentioned, you can control and access your files from multiple devices. So maybe you work off your desktop, but you're going to be out for the day and you want to access a document from your mobile device. You can do that as well. And you can even edit when you're offline so that when you go online, automatically those updates will take place. So here's a breakdown of the drive. And I'm going to show you this in real time again, but here's a breakdown of the drive. So up at the top, this is where you would search your drive. So maybe you only, now I have hundreds and hundreds of files, and I've got tons of different presentations. I have tons of different spreadsheets. So everything's all there, but maybe I just want to look for all of my spreadsheets. I don't want anything else to appear in the center except for my spreadsheets. So I can click in here, a drop down will come up, and I can just click spreadsheets, or I can click documents or PDFs, and then everything else except all the PDFs will appear in this center. Now, if you don't click in there and you've just got everything appearing, you've got your quick access. So frequently used, most recently documents or folders that you've accessed. A lot of times, and on this slide, we don't see it here, but between quick access and files, we have folders. And I'm going to show you that when I go live. And then all of your files are underneath that. And it's not really as organized as you would like. You're recently used or alphabetical, depends how your settings are, but that is all appearing here. And then again, the navigation is over on the left. And if you want to add a new file or create a new folder, or you want to add a new document, you can do that right here from plus. So that, and I'm going to show you all this live in a few seconds. Now, from that plus sign, if I click that plus, I'm going to get this drop down. And from this drop down, I can create a new folder, right? I can upload a file or a folder, and I can create new documents, new sheets, new slides. And we do have, and I'll show you this, templates as well. Now, if you want to work from a blank canvas, work from a blank canvas. If you want to work from a template, you can do that. A lot of times I work from a template, many of us do, or I recommend working from a template. Reason being that why reinvent the wheel, right? If there's a template, all I have to do is update it and change it so that, you know, I add my own information, or I change the colors or the font style. Why not work from that template? And you'll notice here I've got a URL, which again, you guys are going to get the recording, so you can always access this back, but you'll see this, and it gives you more information on how to upload files to Drive. Okay, and as I said, you can access your information from mobile devices. You do have to download the Drive if you want to get into your Drive right there, or you can, you know, as long as you're signed into your Google account. But I have the Drive, Docs, slides, sheets, all downloaded into my my mobile device, my phone. Okay, so let me go live and let me take a look at some of the questions. So let's, I'm going to pause the screen while I exit full screen. But I'm going to keep this up, and I want to make sure you guys can still see my closed captions if anybody needs that. And let me just make sure I'm in the right account, because that's always important. Okay, so, okay, now you can see my screen here. Let me just look at some of the questions that we've got. And again, I'm in an email. This is a demo email account. So this is what I was talking about, is getting, somebody asked, how do I get back to Drive from my email? So here is where the apps are. This is the Gmail that I'm signed into. as well. If I click that, I'll get a drop down with a variety of my different Google accounts, Gmail accounts that I can get to. But this is the Google account that I'm in right now. So anything that I want to access from this Google account, I can get to. Here's the apps where if you click that drop down with the apps, I can get to a variety of my different apps right here. And if I want to find more from Google to add, I can do that as well. So these are most recently used. Now, one other thing I want to show you guys, and a lot of people always ask me this, and let me put my camera on. Let me just come back here. And I'm going to have to, I apologize, I'm not going to make eye contact or really look at the screen too much because I got to look down for my laptop because I'm working on multiple devices. But what I want to show you guys, a lot of people always ask me, you know, I get into my email and everything's grouped. I can't find anything. How do I change that? So if you come over to your I'm in my Gmail here, right? This gear here is settings. So if you click that setting and you get that drop down, you can see all settings, you can see how you can customize some things. This is called conversations. You can turn on, if your conversations are all, or your groups of emails are all coming together, that means this is probably checked. Conversations are turned on. I keep mine off because I don't like the grouping. I want to be able to find what I'm looking for with ease. So you would come down here and turn off conversations. You can also get it to by hitting see all settings and scroll down here. If you scroll down, we're going to look for conversations. So conversations for me are off. So if you want to turn off that grouping of common threads of the emails together and just have all your emails individually listed and appearing, go to conversations and turn that off. One other thing I'm going to show you while I'm in here, and let me just find it, is, and I don't know how many of you actually use this, raise your hands, and I'm kind of looking at the control panel as well. Anybody have where it's the undo send turned on? Does anybody have that? Which means if you hit send and you realize, oh my gosh, I spelled their name wrong, or I forgot to attach something, I need to cancel that send. So, okay, a couple people have that. Okay, so this is another great little tool to use, that undo send. I set it to 30 seconds, which means my email is not being sent for 30 seconds after I hit that send button. Because a lot of times I'll realize, wait a minute, I forgot to add this person, or I didn't attach something, or I didn't add a link. So I can actually cancel that send by 30 seconds. So I hope that kind of gave insight for some, let's say. So is Google Inbox backed up on the drive? It's not backed up on the drive, but it is not so much backed up, if that's what you're asking. But you can set your trash to empty every 30 days. You can extend it longer or automatically. So you can do that. So please show how to unsend. Oh, Tara, did I answer that before you wrote that or after? Okay, so good. People are using that. So Eva, so you use Apple apps and Google apps. Can files be moved? So I use Apple too, and I use Google too. I've got multiple. So if you create it in Keynote or you're using Microsoft, also PowerPoint, you can upload the different files and then transfer them or make a copy of them into a Google file as well. So I'm just trying to see if I am answering the question. So keep putting your questions in. Would like to be able to make a usable spreadsheet. Okay, Jennifer. Okay, so let's just see. So Tara, do you want me to show you how? So let me just show you guys. So I have that unsend on. So let's just say I create an email and I'll send it to my other email address. Test email. And I can't spell either. So now I'm going to hit send. Here's the other thing I want to point out. See this little drop down, this arrow? If you click it, I can actually schedule this send. So sometimes I work a lot on Sundays if I'm sitting around watching TV or football. And I did say I was from Philadelphia. So fly, Eagles, fly. We've got great season going. But if I want to schedule a send, and maybe I don't want to send people emails on a Sunday, I can click schedule send and I can choose dates and times, or I can pick a date and time to send that email. So a lot of times I'll set my emails up on a Sunday and I won't send them until Monday morning. Now, watch, I'm going to send this email. I'm going to click send. I want you to notice down here in the lower left, see, email message sent. I can undo it and I could call it back. That's how you bring that email back. The most you can set your undo send is up to 30 seconds. Okay. So let's, okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get into Google Drive. So now if I'm over here, click that drop down, click Drive, it's going to take me to my Drive. Now, if I'm signed into this Google account, this is the drive I'm in. Maybe I want to get to my other drives from here too. I can move, I can click that drop down right here, find another Google account that I have that I'm signed into, and go to that drive as well. But for this purpose, we're going to stay within this drive. Now here are most recently used or suggested files I've been active in. Notice I have folders here. So I've got different folders. I've created folders. And here's the key. I hear from people all the time, I'm not organized. I can't find anything. Folders, folders, folders. I work by folders. Huge. So create folders and drag or move your documents into those folders. It keep you more organized. You won't spend so much time getting frustrated and looking for things. And then here are all my files. And again, this is a demo account, so, but I've got a lot of different types of files. You know, I've got Excel, I've got PDFs, I have Word, as well as Google products. So let me just make sure. Okay, so here, let's just kind of walk through this. Now remember at the beginning, I said, if you click this search and drive, I can click in here, and now I just want to find all my documents, or I want to find all my PDFs. So, but let's say documents. If I click that, only things showing are documents. So if I scroll down, and documents include also Word documents. But if I scroll down, this is all the documents. Now, if I want to filter it a little bit more, I can come over here and say, okay, I know it's something I created. So owned by me. And maybe I know that there's a certain keyword, a word that was used in there. I can put that in. So let's just reset that. So you can drill it down even a little bit more if you want to find a particular file. So let's go back over here. And that was documents, but I could also find all presentations if I wanted to. So it's an easy way to look for a product or a file that you're looking for. So how do you delete a file? Patrick's asking, from Google Drive. So if I want to delete this file, I would come over here and press down, and I would right click. So there's a couple ways. So right click and click remove. Now it's going to go into the trash. Okay. File move to trash. Now, if I did it by accident, I could quickly undo it, or I could go to trash and now there's that document. And if I want to restore it, I can do that. Hit restore, and that document is back. So if I put it in trash, it can be removed from trash. Now, here's the other thing I want to point out. See this gear? These are the settings for Drive. So these you can put some of your, rules that you want, how you want to manage it, manage apps, all in here. You can also, if you want to change the layout of your Drive, do it that way. I don't like it as a list. For me, it works better as a visual this way. I like to see a part of the file and then the title. Some people just want a list and they just want to be able to find their documents that way. I don't. Okay, let me just make sure. Okay, keep putting your questions in, guys. Is there a way to make groups of people who can see certain Drive documents, Chelsea? Okay, and not view other documents? Absolutely. So let me show you that. So let's come into a document. Now, number one, let's just start this way. I want to give you, before I get to your question, here, if I wanted to create something new, I can come up here and I can create a new folder and just say New York SBDC. Create. Now that folder is going to appear here. So anything I might associate with New York SBDC, I may put into this folder. I could drag it in when I'm in the document, I can move it over and I'll show you that. Now within here, I may want to have multiple folders. So webinars. Okay, so there, or Mid-Hudson. So now I have multiple folders. So I'm keeping organized. Listen, it's all about being organized. If you're not organized, you're going to spend forever, as well as be frustrated looking. So it's about being organized. So now I come back to my Drive and I want to, New York SBDC. Let me see if there's any files in here. And then I've got 2 folders. Now maybe I want to share this folder right here with multiple people. So anything within that folder, I'm sharing. So I can either get the link here, I'm the owner of it, but I'm restricting only people with access can open this link. So I've restricted it. Now I can also do it, anyone with the link can view this. So I can copy that link and then I can create an email and say, here is the folder, right? And then I always just link that word and I would pop that link in here and hit OK. Now, anybody who gets my email that I'm sharing that wants to access that folder, because they've got that link, they can get into that folder and those documents. But if I don't want everyone to have full access, then I'm going to restrict the access. And then I'm going to individually invite people to that folder. So I'm letting my other email have access to that folder. So I'm saying, okay, Randy's going to have access through this email, and I'm going to not make her an editor because I don't want her to edit anything, but she can comment on the different documents that are in there. Or I only want her to view what's in that folder. So there's different access levels that you can get, or I can make her editor. She can do whatever she wants in that folder. So that's how you would share a folder, as well as even your documents as well. So let's see, please revisit settings. So Tara, I'm not sure which settings you want me to look at. Can the people who receive the link from you share the link as well and give more people access? It depends on their access level. So if you've given them the editor, they can do whatever you can do, except you are the actual owner, so you can always remove people, but they can remove and add people as well. If is an unrestricted link. And anybody with a link that has that link, they have access to it. So most times we don't do it. I don't share documents as unrestricted unless it's like a recording or something. I do it where they might, let me just go back in and sharing this, right? So sharing, I normally give restricted so that only people who I've given access have access to it. It depends on what you want to share. Now, let's go back to Drive. And so we talked about organizing. Now, here's a team roster. Let's just say, or let's come over. Let me start this way. So here's a Word document. Now, this is in Word, but I want it in Google Docs. Now, a couple things here. See how it says DOCX? That's the file format. So if I want to say, all right, I want to keep this in this file format, but I want to make it also in Google Docs, I would come over to File, click File, get a drop down, Save as Docs. What it's going to do is make a copy of that. It's not going to delete it. It's going to make a copy of that. And now I've got a copy in Google Doc. And now maybe I want to share this Google Doc with my team. So I would come over here and I can either add people, I could make it restricted and give just people the link, or I could say, all right, I don't care who has access to it, anyone with the link, let them come in and they can only view it because I've got it set to view. But maybe I want them to be able to comment on it. So I would hit done. Anybody who has that link can come in here. They can't edit it, but they can make a comment. And what does a comment mean? So maybe you're working with a team and you're going to say, is this the right date? So I can click here, add a comment, or I can come up here, add a comment. And I believe we can also do it from File. Nope, they got rid of that. Okay, so I would highlight what I'm asking a question on. Now notice I just made a mistake here. I moved this, right? So what I would do is come back up here, undo, and it's going to correct it for me. Anything you do within Drive is done in real time. So it's automatically being saved, but you can always undo as well as look at version history. A lot of people always say, how can I get back to the original version? Click up here and you can see all the different versions that you have as well. Now remember, this is a new document. I made this as a copy of all the Word. So, but if I want to restore this version, I can, or I can make a copy of this older version. Okay, so, whoop, I didn't want that. Let's come back over here. Okay, so say I want to share this with my team and I've got a comment. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, I'm going to type in the @ sign, drop down and say, oh, here's some team members. I'm going to comment one of my team members, and you can put multiple team members in here. Is this date correct? Type that in, situation, right? Assign it to one of those people. And now that email is getting a message, a notification, hey, is this correct? They're getting that comment and they're seeing it. They can actually click that and come into the folder. And this is how you can work on things as a team. Multiple people can be in here at the same time making updates together. So you can share it by coming up here, or you can comment in and share it that way as well. Now, the other thing is, how do you know where it's stored? So right here, see that Drive right here? That's telling you where it's stored. Now, maybe I want to, it's not in any folder, but maybe I want to put it into New York SBDC. So just so everybody's on the same page, I've come up here. There's two ways to do this. click, and this is telling me where it is stored within my drive. And I want to move it over to New York SBDC. Now within New York SBDC, I've got 2 folders. Where do I want to put it? So I want to put it under webinars. So move here. I've added it now to that folder. So coming back over here, New York SBDC, there's the folder. Come in here and I put it in webinars. So if I click that, and now that's where the document is. I can move it at any time if I want as well. So let's make sure we're addressing questions. I'll come back to the email. Amy, you're asking about the automatic reply with the signature. It's a way to make groups of people who can see. Okay, I think I've addressed that. Let's see. Okay, and remember, as I said, everything is done in real time. So you make a change, it's automatically saved. Say your power goes out, or say your computer, you forgot to charge it. It's done in real time. It's automatically saved. You don't have to worry about that. The other thing I want to show you is coming back over here. Now, say you want to make a new spreadsheet. Spreadsheets, right? Google Sheets. Now, you can do it from blank or you can do it from a template. Just so you know, there's a variety of different types of templates. Once you choose the template you want to use, then you can update it to what you're looking for. So whether it's a schedule, expense report, timesheet, whatever it may be. Now, once you clicked on this, and let's just use schedule real quick as an example, it automatically opens up. Now, here's the thing. Notice it's titled schedule. You want to change that because here's the thing. If you've got multiple spreadsheets, and they're all titled schedule, you're never going to be able to find the one you want. So maybe this is, New York SBDC schedule, so that you know. Now, once you type that in, that's saved in real time. It's already updated. And if I go back to my drive right here, I can actually find that somewhere. I'd have to search for it, but a lot of times what I do when I create something new, I'll start it with an asterisk so that I have it. And actually, I want to see where is it stored. It's actually stored in webinars. So that's where I needed to find it. But maybe I want to move this from webinars and I don't want it under webinars. So I would hit that up at the top, that little folder, hit the arrow that opens up, and I want to put it just in my demo folder. So I come over here, and now I've moved it from one folder to the other. So can you show again how to see the different formats? Yep. So if I were coming up here, number one, this is done in Word. Notice up at the top. Now, if I come over here, this is a Google Sheet. So it doesn't tell me other than it's a Google Sheet, right? You can tell by sheets. This is done in Word, but here's the copy that I made. So I know that I've got a copy, and this is Google Sheets, Google Docs. It's been a long day already. So now, if I wanted to download this in another format, I could do it in Word. I could do it in a PDF if I wanted to also, so that I have saved this as a PDF, and now I want to share it with people, and I don't want anybody to make changes to it. Okay. Let's go into Sheets real quickly. Now, a lot of people always say, well, how do I make drop downs within a sheet? So understand within a sheet, every column and every row is basically an address. So this is a template. You can update this template any way that you want. So if I've highlighted these two rows, complete rows, and I don't want it to be green anymore. I want it to be blue. I would come over here. Now I've highlighted both rows. So I've clicked on one and then I use the shift button and I click two. Now both of those rows are highlighted. Come up here and here's where I would change the colors. Now maybe I want to work on this schedule. And I've got two people that are alternating their schedule. And I want to have a drop down so I can just choose them instead of typing their name each time. So, and remember, I'm working from that template that I picked. So I would come up here and I'd come under data, and I would go to data validation. And then I'm going to do, I want to do list of items because I'm going to list multiple people. So I would say Pamela, and I would say Scott, I'll use my husband's name, and let's say Zach. Okay, so now these I want to show in a drop down. Save. Now notice I've got this. I can say Pamela, who's one of my coworkers, she's going to work at 8:30. Now I want this option to come across. Pamela's working multiple days. Okay, so you can just drag it down. So this is how you would make a drop down within your spreadsheet. And it could be numbers, it could be other things as well. Okay, let's see. Excuse me. Any other questions that I haven't addressed yet? Okay, and again, I want to stress that everything we're doing is in real time. So now I've just made those updates to this New York SBDC schedule. But where did I put it? Oh, it's in my demo folder. So if I ever want to find it, oh, not in my New York, it's in my demo folder. I could find it here. But maybe I can't find it anywhere and I'm looking, but I know it's a spreadsheet. So I could go this way and I see, oh, there it is. I'm only searching for spreadsheets. Now, another thing I want to show you, which is kind of cool, let's come back to my drive. And again, if you've got questions, thank you, Patricia. I appreciate that. So let's just see. Okay, so somebody's asking about word count. So this is kind of cool. So I'm in a document and maybe you're writing something and you know it needs to be a certain amount of words. So come up here, view, let me just say insert, now I gotta find it, format, tools, all of a sudden, word count. Okay, sometimes I gotta look too. So under tools, there's a lot of different tools that you can do. You can turn on your spelling and grammar as well. Here's word count. So I want to count the amount of words, characters I can see. I want it to display so I can see it. So notice on this particular document, I've used 739 characters. But how many words have I used? So come up here. And now I can see as I type attendees to show up. Notice my word count is changing, right? So you can see that. So it gives you an idea as well on where you're at on your word count. And you can remove this at any time, coming under tools, go back to word count, and just turn it off that way. So somebody was asking, can I do this across? So you can just see this little box here. You can just drag it across. And maybe you want to get rid of the data validation. Maybe you said, oh, I don't want this. Or you want to change something with it. You come in here and you can actually change it or remove the validation. And it should remove, but it did. Now, the validation, the dropdown has removed, but Pamela's name is still in there. But I could remove her name and then just drag that down and drag it across as well and remove it. Okay. So Tara, I think I answered that. So Vianney, and I hope I pronounced your name correctly, you don't have to back up your computer files into the drive. You can drag them in, or you got to bring them into the drive. So you're not backing up anything. Once you've added it, it's real time, it's automatically. Remember, it's saved in the cloud. It's not saved on your computer. It is not using any space on your computer. It is using the drive storage. So right here, it'll tell you how much storage each item has used, and then how much storage you've used as well. Now, okay, let me just make sure. Okay, so for the spreadsheet, how would you have a formula like adding across several columns? So just like you would with Excel, if you're in a spreadsheet and you want to add, you would do, the sum or the equal sign, and then you'd put the row, 6 or the column E. It's in E, so it'd be starting at, say, row 6, and you can drag it down and say you want to have all that added. So same way, so sum, actually you normally have to do the equal. I'll come over here. Actually, it's not working for me. Well, F6, it's picking up. So, but same as you would do with, let me see if there's a simplified way for you to do it. Sometimes there is, but no. So named functions, that's new. Let's see if that's, okay. So you can actually do it from there or come up and I normally do the equal, sum, and then I'm choosing, it depends on what you want to have here. So this is a number of cells. So we would go F6, right? And the next value would be F11. So, so I apologize, it's not working right for me. So actually, I'd have to come back. I don't know why it's not working right. But same process that you would do with, well, I do it all the time. I don't know why it didn't work. This is the beauty of doing it live. Same process as you would do with Excel, to the sum, average, put the column, the row, and then where you want it to end, drag it down, and it'll give you the sum of that. So as a limit on storage, so notice here, coming back over to storage, and this is a free Gmail that I'm using, you get 15 gigabytes. You can buy additional storage as well. Okay. So somebody wants to see the reply message. So how to set up a reply. So coming over to Gmail again, coming up under settings, and there's a lot you can do just from that drop down of settings as well, but see all settings, and that's going to take you into the general tab first. Now coming down, if you're going to, well, I'll give you 2 ways. So here, right here is your signature. You would type it in here for your signature, and then and you'll choose the font that you'd like, the color that you like. If you want to link anything, like I've got it linked to Grow with Google, or for review on my business profile, you can do that as well. But anything that you do, you must hit Save Changes. If you don't hit Save Changes, it won't save. A lot of people do some of this and then they forget to hit Save Changes. Now, the other thing is if you want to have an away message coming up to the holidays. Here's the thing. I always recommend here's your first day and here's the last day. Make sure you turn it off. Have an end date to this. There's nothing more unprofessional, in a sense, in my mind, that you're getting somebody's away message from the summer and it's now October. So make sure you have an end date. Again, hit save changes. If you don't hit save changes, it won't. And here's where you would type in your away message. Okay. So I think I've covered all of the questions. So let me bring Vanessa back. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to pull up the SBDC slide just so you guys can always get in touch with them as well. So Vanessa, if you're joining me back, there you are. Okay, so I think we've covered a lot, short period of time. I'm going to give people about 3 minutes back to their day. Any thoughts, comments?
No, I think we use the Google Drive a lot in SBDC. It's a great way to share documents, especially since we're spread out through New York State. It makes it easy for us to edit each other's work, get ideas from each other. It's a really great collaborative platform, so it works well for us. And if anybody's interested in SBDC, that's our email and our contact phone number here at Mid-Hudson. We're in the hosted by SUNY Ulster in Kingston, New York. So we're here for you.
Super. Okay, so guys, I think I've really addressed all the questions. Okay, thanks guys, I appreciate it. Let me take one more. Can you repeat how to drag files from a PC to the drive? Let me just show you that real quick. Exit full screen, I'll come back. I don't like leaving anyone hanging if I don't have to. So to drag it, number one, you can just go to your computer. Now I'm not going to show you any of my documents that I have on my computer, but if I've got it on my document while my drive is open, a lot of times like I'll make this a little smaller and then I'll go find what I've got on my desktop and you can just drag it in, or you can come up here under new, click new, a new file, upload, and then that's going to open up your desktop as well. So you can see what's in there and you can upload it. Great. Okay, a lot of thank yous. Thank you to the SBDC. Okay, super. Great, guys. So thank you so much. We appreciate everybody attending. Thanks to the New York SBDC because this was a great series. And hopefully we'll see you guys on another webinar soon. Take care. Thanks, Vanessa. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.